It is something that our deen mandates that a child knows. They don't have to be reminded of it all the time. They don't have to be told that they're anything less. All the hadith that we've covered in the first session sort of clarify that they are indeed to be made to feel like they are just like all your other children. What they eat, what they drink, how they're treated, everything. So it's not a means of belittling them, but so that they have an honest conversation. They know, however, you establish very early on, you're not going to be treated any differently. I love you just like I love my other children. You get that out of the way as early as possible. The longer you wait, the more you actually risk, again, violating hifdh al-nasl, which is the preservation of lineage, which is a part of our deen, and also the psychological well-being of that child when they grow up. So it is important to establish that, inshallah ta'ala, without causing undue harm to the child. Islam always has a middle ground between the two on these things. Being 2 years old, so it's a very wide range there. But the point is that he was too old to become a child, to become a mahram through breastfeeding. So Salim was in a difficult situation. Sahla, the mother, is in a difficult situation. Abu Hudhayfa was in a difficult situation. They did not know what to do because he was, for all practical purposes, their son. And they did not know how to approach the situation. Sahla and Abu Hudhayfa started to become uncomfortable with him, entering upon her without hijab and so on and so forth, and hugging her, because they didn't know what their situation was with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now. Sahla went to the Prophet ﷺ and she told the Prophet ﷺ that Salim enters upon us, he's over the age of 2, right? And Abu Hudhayfa feels very uncomfortable, not because of jealousy, because obviously they raised him like a son, but because they were afraid they were violating the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What should we do? The Prophet ﷺ said to her, أَرْضِعِيهِ تَحْرُمِي عَلَيْهِ. Abu Hudhayfa will disappear. Now, some of you might remember there was a crazy fatwa that came out actually I'm not going to say the university, I get in trouble. I don't want to mar the university. There was a crazy fatwa that came out a few years ago that said if you're having issues with your coworkers, we have to work together in the same office, it's okay, just breastfeed the coworker and everything will be all right, and then suddenly he's going to be mahram to you. And it became a laughing stock in the Arab world and throughout the Muslim world, and unfortunately the Islamophobes really swallowed that up, right? That's actually, yeah. So the point is they really use that against us and look at these crazy Muslims and that's what they're talking about and so on and so forth. What does this hadith mean? Ibn Hajar rahimahullah comments and he says, Al-Qadi Ayyad rahimahullah established, and this is something established by An-Nawawi as well, that she did not expose herself to Salim, but rather she took her milk and she put it into a vessel. Salim drank from it through 5 days, so he drank from it 5 different times, and Salim became mahram to her. So the issue is, number one, there is no exposing to a child because that's against modesty and things of that sort in the first place, right? So there's a problem with that. So it was within a cup and it was within a vessel. Most of the ulama, the vast majority of the ulama say that this was a case makhsus. It was specific to Salim. Why? Because the Prophet ﷺ says that after 2 years the milk has no effect. So the vast majority of the scholars believed that this was a specific case, that the Prophet ﷺ made a specific rukhsa to Salim. I'm going to say that again, the vast majority of the scholars.